Hi, I'm Steffany Strange. Want to hear something scary?
Hey Strangelings! I hope you all had a great start to the new year. We are excited for 2024, and we're starting off right with a compilation, so enjoy.
What is your emergency?
Yeah, hi. This is gonna sound kind of strange, but
There's a man stumbling around in circles in my front yard. Could you repeat that, sir?
he looks sick or lost or drunk or something.
I just woke up to get a glass of water and heard snow crunching around underneath my front window, so I peeked out. I'm looking at him now. He's about 10 yards away from my window.
Something's not right.
What is your address, sir?
1617 Quarry Lane in Pinella Pass.
I'm gonna send a squad car your way, but that's quite a ways out. Are you alone in your house, sir? Yes, I'm alone. Can you confirm that all of your doors and windows are locked? Stay on the phone with me. I know that my front is definitely locked, but I'll go check my back door again really quick.
I appreciate your help, by the way. I know this is kind of strange, but I really hope that...
Sir, are you still there?
He's still in the yard. But what the hell? He's upside down.
Sir, stay on with me. What is happening? He's staring right at me, but he's standing on his hands now. He's perfectly still, staring straight at me. He's doing a handstand and he's smiling at me and not moving. He's doing a handstand, sir? I don't know how he's facing me and standing on his hands, and he's got this huge smile and he's perfectly still. What the fuck? Please.
Get someone out here now.
Sir, I need you to remain calm. I've put out the call and an officer is on his way.
His teeth are so huge. Oh my god, please help me.
Sir, I want you to try and keep an eye on him, but make sure your back door is locked again. We need to make sure all possible access points are secured. Can you talk me through and confirm that your back door is locked? Okay, I'm walking backwards now, and I'm keeping him in my sight.
My hand is on the back doorknob now. Okay, it's locked.
I need to check the deadbolt, so I'm gonna take my eyes off him for a split second. All right, sir, help is on the way. Just stay on the phone with me. Everything's going to be all right. Sir? Sir, are you still there? His face. It's up against the glass. Sir, I need you to speak up. What is happening? I looked away for a split second and now his face is pressed up against my front window. His teeth are huge. He's still smiling. There's no color in his eyes. Jesus, please help me. Why won't it just fucking move? Sir, I need you to go to the nearest room and lock yourself inside of it. Do you have a basement or a bedroom that you can lock yourself in? He won't stop staring. I think he's gonna hurt me. Sir, I need you to listen to me. Lock yourself somewhere safe until the officer arrives at your house. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna lock myself in my room.
And you're positive that you're alone in your house, correct? Yes. I'm alone in the house. Wait a moment.
He's moving. He's shaking his head.
He's telling me no? Oh God, I think he can hear us. He's telling me I'm not alone. Sir? Sir, are you still there? Can you still hear me? What was that sound? Is everything okay? Sir?
Unusual didn't believe in anything supernatural. She was someone who needed to see things to believe them. To her, ghosts and jinns were excuses that parents used to stop their children from going out after dark. Unusual worked as a receptionist at the hospital. When her shift ended at 9 p.m., she would be wired from the busy day and go out till dawn to party, stumbling home only after the sun had risen. She knew it was dangerous, burning the candle at both ends, but working in a hospital, she also knew you only live once. One night after her shift, a colleague suggested that they try a new bar that had just opened. It was further out of town, but Anusha immediately agreed. They took 2 separate cars, of course one Anusha drove. The hours went by as they were having fun, and it was soon 2 a.m. and time to call it a night. The cars took the same route back until they got to the Mohawk Ali overbridge, the first ever flyover built in Bangladesh. where they parted ways back to their different homes. The road was deserted, not a soul in sight. Anyusha didn't know if it was just because she was exhausted, but she felt the bridge had an eerie feeling to it. The wind whistling as they sped along. They were around the middle of the bridge when Anyusha spotted something that caused her to panic. A woman in white running straight towards them. The passengers in Anyusha's car shrieked in horror as the woman headed right for them, making no sign of stopping even after seeing the car. They had no way of stopping in time. Anyusha flinched as the woman just stood there, waiting for Anyusha's car to hit her. Anyusha instinctively wanted to swerve to the side, and there was still time. It would be the rational thing to do to avoid an accident, but a voice in the back of her head urged her not to. She looked around and saw that swerving left or right would result in a collision with the railings, or even worse, crash through them and down onto the road underneath. So she did as her brain instructed and drove on, not caring about the consequences, not caring about anything but saving her life and those of her passengers. She drove straight into the woman, who did not even wince as the vehicle hit her. It was as though she was made out of thin air, and the car simply passed through her. Anyusha looked into the rearview mirror in disbelief, only to see the woman still standing where she had been. But she turned around and saw her face was staring at them, yet there was no blood in sight. Then she disappeared. A collective hallucination, and the remainder of their journey home was normal. The next day, Anyusha was recounting her story at the hospital, telling a colleague about a woman on the bridge. In the middle of her story, she noticed a patient staring wide-eyed at her. He was a middle-aged man with a broken leg and arm, and his face was cut open and badly bruised. He stared at her with an expression of awe. Anyusha couldn't help but be a little creeped out. When she asked the man if he needed something, he asked her anxiously, "You really encountered her too? You got away?" "What do you mean, me too?" Anyusha asked hesitantly. "The woman in white," he said. Blood began to pulse through Anyusha's body. She never said anything about the woman wearing white. Had this patient seen the same thing? He then took a long breath. "There's a legend about the place," he murmured. "Many people see her. She's a vengeful spirit. Probably rightfully so. She met her end on the bridge where she was killed by a drunk driver. She only appears to people when they have been drinking. Now you know the people who swerve all over the road usually aren't thinking straight. They crash into the railing, sometimes flying over the ledge to their deaths. You should consider yourself lucky." The reality of what happened finally hit Anyusha. The logical part of the brain told her he was crazy. It was just a coincidence. It just couldn't have been real. She didn't believe in ghosts. "Ugh, you have no proof," Anyusha exclaimed as a bead of sweat trickled down the nape of her neck. "No proof?" he shouted back as he gestured to his broken bones and torn up face. "I'm living proof. I swerved to miss her, almost damn near died." Anyusha looked at the patient in shock, realizing how fortunate she'd been. And with that, she never doubted the existence of the supernatural ever again.
I used to think my family hated me. Maybe hate is a strong word, but I definitely did not feel particularly well liked. I was my parents' least favorite compared to my two younger sisters. They just never seemed to want to be around me or talk to me. They wouldn't even let me take care of our hamster, Lulu. I thought I was being paranoid, but my parents' cold demeanor became more apparent when we moved into a new house. They gave me the room at the very end of a hallway, secluded and removed from everything else. They claimed it was so I could have privacy, but I think they just wanted me far away. That room gave me the creeps. I remember the first night there, I woke up and heard hushed voices echoing in the walls of my room. I couldn't make out everything they were saying, except for my name, the many times it came up. The next morning, I told my mom about the voices and that I thought the house might be haunted. You must have heard the pipes or something, she said dismissively, but I know what I heard. I also knew arguing with her wasn't going to go anywhere, so I decided to suck it up. I went to bed with such anxiety that night that I had an incredibly lucid and horrifying nightmare. I was strapped down to my bed, surrounded by dark figures who were chanting over and over, and I couldn't move or scream. I just laid there while these figures sprinkled me with unknown substances. The next morning at breakfast, I silently ate while my parents asked my sisters how school was going. Then Jamie, one of my sisters, turned to me. "Are you still hearing things at night, Sissy?" she asked. I was actually a little startled by the sudden attention on me. Yeah, and I actually had a pretty bad dream last night. Felt like there were people in my room or something. My sister then turned to look at my parents. I felt like they were telepathically talking about me right in front of me. Then Jamie spoke again. "Mom, you should give her that stuff to make her sleep better." My mom nodded. I was still taken aback by this sudden interest in helping me sleep better. So before bed that night, I swallowed the pill that my mom gave me. As an extra precaution, I gathered as many religious items from around the house, crucifixes, paintings, as many as my hands could carry, and put them in my room. I thought they would protect me from whatever was haunting me during my sleep. The following morning, I woke up in a panic. Everything I had put up the night before was now on the ground, shattered in pieces. I knew my parents were not going to be happy, but I also felt like this was proof that there was something in my room. So I ran to tell my parents. "There must have been an earthquake during the night, I guess," my mom said. But nothing else in the house was broken, only the religious items in my room. It didn't add up. I spent that whole day crying in my room. Before bedtime, Jamie came in with her hands cupped in a ball. She hopped on my bed and opened her hands. "Here, maybe Lulu will help you sleep tonight," she said. I glanced out the door and back at my sister. Is Mom okay with that? She doesn't have to know. I thanked my sister and lay down to bed, snuggling Lulu in my hands. When I woke up the next morning, Lulu had moved. I felt around my pillows and blankets, but I couldn't find her. I realized it was an idiotic idea to fall asleep like that with a tiny animal. I figured she must have run out of my room under the door in the middle of the night, so I went looking for her. The rest of my family was already up and in the middle of breakfast. I couldn't let them know I had lost Lulu, so I decided to continue my search after I had a couple bites. But after swallowing one spoonful of cereal, I spit it out onto the table. I suddenly felt incredibly nauseous. I began dry heaving over the table until I coughed up a small clump of brown fur. My family immediately stood up and began praying the Lord's Prayer. I felt dizzy and blacked out. When I came to, I was strapped on my bed with my family standing around me, sprinkling unknown substances all over me. "What are you doing? Why do you hate me?" I cried, frantically trying to release myself. The expressions of each of my family members turned to sadness. "We don't hate you, Desiree," my dad said. "We hate who you become at night." I don't understand. "You've tried to kill each and every one of us in your sleep," my dad continued, "multiple times." "We're trying to help you, Sissy," Jamie chimed in, "but nothing seems to be working." I didn't know what to think. This whole time, I thought that I was being traumatized by a demon in my room, and I was the demon. My family didn't hate me. They're just afraid of me. And I think I am too.
Thanks so much for listening. Like and share if this video gave you the chills. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications. See you next time.